General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
11:03 and 41 seconds on Wednesday, the 12th of February already. 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, particularly gentlemen, 2 days. 2 days, gentlemen. Go right now and get your Valentine Day cards. Word of advice or a suggestion, even though your 401s may be blowing up tremendously, go to the dollar store. They got 99 cents for cards. Usually you can get two of them. I don't know if you have two girlfriends or wives or whatever. But Valentine Day, 2 days from now. What a show we have today. We have 4 blocks, and we got a whole crew here today and a special guest I'll introduce in a second. But our first block shows that Karl Marx won the New Hampshire primary.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
All right, Karl's making a resurgence. Karl Marx is back, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have, we're going to talk about Christians not voting. Sinful Christians not voting. We're going to make that argument. We want you to listen very carefully. 266 days. 266 days as to whether or not Karl Marx really comes back or whether we can buy another 4 years to correct this this gigantic ship trying to make a turn away from all this nonsense. And in our third 15-minute block, we have a Jihad in the Middle East. You're going to be amazed at how quiet things are, which is very good, and why it's so quiet in Israel and in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan, relatively speaking. There's some very, very good reasons. In our last 15 minutes, we're going to talk specifically about how people need to be mobilized. You're seeing the energy, the excitement, the passion on the left, and thousands of people are starting to sign up to get ready for whoever the Democrat candidate is, and we have to match that and exceed that, and we're going to lay out a rationale of volunteer activism. We want everybody to listen and to get involved. But right now, we have in the house Guillermo. Guillermo is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Guillermo. Willie G.
Willie G is in the house. Let's have some applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, man.
It's great to be back. We were here last Wednesday, and I got to watch the entire program. And I tell you, Mark and Dick just did a phenomenal job here. And a lot of my friends that watched the program thought, wow, this is not only is it educational, but it's very fun. So we had a good time, and maybe next Wednesday I'll be bringing the harmonicas.
Sucking up to the editing staff always helps, just letting you know. Sucking up to the editing staff always helps.
Bring that harmonica. Now, I got about 30 texts last week after the show. All, I think they're cheerleaders for the Dolphins or whatever, but they wanted your number, and I did not want to give it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I give it out?
You can. I'm boycotting the NFL, but I didn't say anything about the cheerleaders.
Okay. Speaking about sports, I have a little announcement here today. Willie Guardiola. Let's see. Looks like in 2004, something happened. Something happened to you in 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I first started my hurricane relief
Yeah.
for Christian on a Mission after Hurricane Charlie on Friday the 13th.
No, forget about all nonsense, okay? I mean, that's important. That's important.
yeah.
But this is more important. In 2004, see the kind of guy he is.
I know.
He doesn't even recall this because he's so geared about helping other people.
Oh, basketball.
2004, the Florida College System Activities Association Athletics declared and made Willie G a member of the Hall of Fame in the state of Florida.
Whoa. Thank you. Now that was
along with Billy Bowden, no less, same year.
It was just a great tribute, and I was up there in the Panhandle, and they gave me the award out there in a big crowd, and it was really nice because I spent so much time on the hard courts and, running basketball camps and refereeing. So it was something I didn't expect, and just a beautiful honor. And it's the plaque is still hanging in my office there in my log home.
In your log home, like Abraham Lincoln, he's got a log home. All right, 11:08. Tom Trento, your host here, WNN 1470 95.3. Last night I was in Englewood, Florida, and spoke to the Liberty Tree Patriots, great group, about 100 people. Randy McClendon, he handled it, and we're going to be working with him in our campaign to mobilize people all over the state. So thank you to those guys. There was 100 people out waving flags on the main road there, McCall Avenue in Englewood. Pretty amazing.
I was impressed to see all those people there because I'm in charge of the Trump sign-waving rallies here in Palm Beach County. And when Tom showed me that video, that was pretty nice to see all those people out there and excited.
Well, do you think if this guy becomes the president, the subject of our first segment here, you think if he becomes the president, there's going to be a lot of flag waving?
Bernie, if he becomes a president, I'll move back to Cuba.
You go back to Cuba. Well, you were born in Cuba, that's right.
That's the official socialism, communism island. But
Bernie will bring Cuba here.
Bernie will bring Cuba here,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, we the power of our production staff distilled his rambling speech to a couple of minutes of his, when we said that Karl Marx won last night, Karl Marx won last night, and
yes,
even Buttigieg, this guy's a doctrinaire Marxist. But listen to Bernie carefully, and I want your opinion on some of his platform positions. Tell me what this is all about. Listen to him as an acceptance speech last night, winning in New Hampshire the primary.
Thank you. We are going to unite together and defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. We are taking on billionaires, and we're taking on candidates funded by billionaires. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. The wealthy and powerful will start paying their fair share of taxes. We will make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel all student debt. Unlike Donald Trump, we know that climate change is very real and an existential crisis for our planet. We are prepared to tell the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet. We are going to end a racist and broken criminal justice system. We are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform. Our gun safety policies will be determined by the American people, not the NRA. And under our administration, it will be women, not the government, who control their own lives. Now, our campaign is not just about beating Trump. It is about transforming this country. It is about having the courage to take on Wall Street, the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the military-industrial complex. And together, I have no doubt that we will defeat Donald Trump. Thank you all very much.
Good luck.
Where do you start with that?
Good luck, Bernie.
Good luck.
Watching that video there, you almost feel like you're not even in the United States. It's almost like some type of European country that he's out there, with this crowd here. It's unbelievable that he's gone off that far, to the left like that. And it's amazing. It really is.
Well, he hit about 6 or 7 key public policy issues. Let's start with an issue that you're very, very familiar with, which is the pro-life issue. He said the government won't control women's lives. Now he's casting it not just in the abortion procedure, but their whole lives. The government's going to run their whole life. Who wants that? as a hardcore, dedicated pro-lifer, when you hear something like that, and Dick, I think you had a question for Willie G. regarding the Catholic Church and the Democrat members of the Catholic Church. What's your gut feel when you hear him talking that way about millions of people who are pro-lifers within the Democrat Party?
I mean, to me, it's just, if there is a candidate that is as pro-abortion as Bernie Sanders and the rest of them, I mean, I just say next. There's no way on earth I could even listen to anybody that has anything to say about, pushing infanticide and abortion after the 20th week, et cetera. So being a devout Catholic and the president of the Palm Beach County Right to Life League, these candidates are totally against everything that we believe in. And it really blows my mind. And yet there's still Christians and Catholics who are Democrats who are voting for this type of thing.
Well, that was Midwest Dick. Dick, what was your question for Willie?
Well, Willie, it was all. I think we know there's a lot of wonderful Catholics who are concerned about the future of what we would call the Holy Mother Church. How do you continue to be involved in this wonderful church with its history? At the moment, it looks like the leader of the Catholic Church is very politically active. That would be Pope Francis, and he has an impact on what Catholics hear every day. It looks as if the Pope is closer to Bernie Sanders on many, many issues, the ones that he just talked about, including climate change, etc. Willie, are Catholics going to have a tough decision this year to break politically with their Pope and not vote in the Democratic column that they might have voted? And what are Catholics going to do this year in terms of dealing with what the Pope is talking about politically and what Bernie Sanders represents for pro-lifers?
Well, that's a great question and great comments there, Dick. 3 weeks ago, the Pope got together with Cardinal DiNardo and a bunch of other cardinals, leaders of the Catholic world, and he's actually asking them, survey-wise, what are the most important things in terms of platforms and issues for voting on. I mean, this is the Pope of the Catholic Church, 1.2 billion Catholics, 70 million Catholics in the United States. And he's asking them for their opinions. And they always put immigration ahead of abortion. To me, that's just, it's unbelievable. And of course, Pope Francis, coming from Argentina, South America, socialism, that's pretty much what he is. I've already had enough. I've put out hundreds of emails on Pope Francis, and I'm not going to talk bad about him because I love the Catholic Church, but he has steered Catholics in the wrong direction, and he's got to get back to pro-life. That's got to be the main thing.
Well, when you talk to Democrat Catholics regarding the pro-life issue, and you say, how could you reconcile your vote for a party that's pro-abortion? What is the conversation go like?
Well, Tom, 5-6 years ago, one of our key priests here in the diocese said, Willie, my great-grandfather was a Democrat, my grandfather was a Democrat, my father was a Democrat, therefore I vote Democrat. I go, Father, you've been a Catholic priest for 32 years. How in God's name can you vote for abortion and anything that the Democrat Party believes in? And that, to me, is just that something's got to be done, because if our own clergy, and I'm not just saying here in Palm Beach County, I'm talking about the entire country, a lot more liberal in California and New York, but if our own clergy are teaching the congregations that it's okay to vote Democrat and vote for abortion, we're losing it. And that's, that's why we're losing a lot of Catholics here in Palm Beach County to the big mega church on North Lake Boulevard.
It almost seems like being Democrat is more important a religion than being a Catholic in your religion. It's almost like being a Democrat.
It's become their religion.
Right.
And I got a question for you, J. Mark, because Karl Marx was asked what his main reason in life is. Distill, Mr. Marx, Karl Marx, distill your view of life. He said it's very simple. He said, I want to have people abandon God, and I want to destroy capitalism. That was his succinct view of the world. Now, we started this segment out, interestingly enough, with saying Karl Marx won the New Hampshire primary, and our next segment is going to be about Christians, not Christians who can't reconcile their faith with their politics and vote for abortion because they're Democrats, but Christians who aren't voting. But while the primary was going on yesterday. Jay Mark, our creative director back there, was busy putting some memes together. Now, a meme is simply a political cartoon. I mean, it's come up with a new name, a meme, but it's a political cartoon.
Right.
And we have it for our viewing audience, and when they watch the show, they can see it. But, Mark, why don't you explain what this meme is? And we all think it's fantastic.
Well, it's a meme, and if you want to look at it, go to the UnitedWest.org and watch this video. But it's Tom's Facebook page. Actually, it's easier to see it. It's Karl Marx with his thumb out of the grave, risen up, saying, just a thumb up towards the Bernie 2020 campaign. And he's rising out of the grave to support Bernie Sanders. And it's so true. This is Marxism coming right out of the grave to support Bernie.
Yeah, it's really very, very cool. Had you seen that before, Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I tweeted out this morning, and you got to look at this. Plus, you had another one. What's that one all about there?
Yeah, that one's it's in the election room that says we have two stories to report on tonight. Bernie has won, and Democrats are all Marxists now. If you think about it, it's true. I mean, you just had the Marxist candidate be the nominee of the Democrat Party. So if you Democrats out there, if you are still hanging around thinking that the Democrat Party is still, the John F. Kennedy Party, that train has left the station, boys and girls.
Long time ago.
And it's now Karl Marx Party.
It's Karl Marx's Party, 11:20 in the morning. Tom Trento with Willie G in the house. With J. Mark, we got Ronnie Wexler in a little bit, and Midwest Dick. Willie, before we leave the Bernie segment here, because Bernie is surging, the burn is burning.
Mm-hmm. The burn is burning.
A lot of Democrats are going, oh, my God, what are we going to do? You were driving here this morning on sort of a meandering road in the middle of nowhere in Florida, and what did you see?
On the Beeline Highway, little mini Mike Bloomberg.
Bloomberg signs.
I saw 3 yard signs already up in February, and I just could not believe it. If I wasn't in a hurry to get to the studio, I was going to pull over and pull them out of the ground. But I couldn't believe it. Bloomberg, 2020, 3 yard signs up in February.
I tell you what, he's got a lot of money. And that Super Tuesday thing is going to be a huge thing. Well, he has the money to cut across all the lines.
He's put in $400 million, 3 signs. It cost him $400 million. He's actually doing very well polling here in Florida, believe it or not, because Florida, even the Democrats aren't as crazy as they are in the Northeast or over in the West Coast. Oh. Some of them aren't as crazy. So they look at crazy Bernie, and they go, well, this doesn't work. So Michael Bloomberg thinks he has a track.
51% of the supporters for Bernie Sanders, when they asked him, are you extreme, are you moderate, are you very extreme? 51% said, what do you think, Willie?
Retarded?
51 are very extreme. That's half of Bernie's supporters. So out of the 26% that took New Hampshire, 13% of the whole state is very extreme, and you extrapolate that across the entire nation, that is what's driving the Democrat Party, that 13%. They are the Twitter Nazis, that are everything else that's on thing. That is what's driving your Democrat Party, Democrats. Leave the party. Get the heck out. Get the heck out. And do something else. Don't have to go to Trump. Yeah.
Just don't vote, or you don't have to be a Republican. You don't have to do anything, but you just have to align your politics with your moral code, your moral compass. But Bernie, and in our shows ahead, we have 266 days to deconstruct Bernie's policy. We're going to go back in Bernie's life. We're going to lay everything out. If he's the guy, look like he is, I can't believe that. Imagine if you're his vice president. You know you're going to become the president somewhere in the 4 years. I don't think he's going to make it. He's a sick man. So he hit every one of these issues. Fossil fuel, climate. When I heard him go after the fossil fuel industry, I tweeted this out this morning. In his New Hampshire victory speech, Crazy Bernie promised to shut down the fossil fuel industry. Damn, he must be flying in one of those newfangled battery-powered private jets. He's flying his jet all over the place, yet he's against fossil fuel. this is the hypocrisy of the left. So what are you going to do?
Well, just like Elizabeth Warren. You saw her getting off that jet the other day, and the cameras are rolling, and she's hiding behind all these people. They're all doing the same thing, from AOC to Warren, Pocahontas. I mean, it's just hypocrisy. It's unbelievable.
One of the I wrote my master's thesis in seminary years ago on the concept of truth, aletheia, truth, and one of the axioms is reality. Truth is your life. To the degree your life is in accord with reality, you're moving in the direction of truth. To the degree your life is in accord with reality. So you got to make a few definitions. But their life is so out of touch with reality, because reality is we got to fly in private jets to get to these places in order to win. But their truth is we shouldn't be burning up all this fossil fuel. Right. So they're out of touch with reality. There's an inconsistency there. So something is wrong. And their worldview is what's wrong. Now, there's another problem.
The ways to means an end is their problem.
Yeah, let's move on to this problem of sinful. I have it in quotes. Sinful Christians not voting. You're a very, very serious Christian. What do you do with these Christians that just say, I'm not going to vote because of this reason, and they just blabber something? What do you do with people like that?
Well, I mean, it's this Sunday we started off at the Catholic churches at my Cathedral of St. Ignatius of Loyola, doing voter registration. And we did the first 4 masses, 7:15, 8:45, 10:30, and the 12:30 Spanish
You're
mass.
the hardest working guy I know, I think.
You don't take a day off. My only days off is when I go to Israel with you guys and sit behind Mark Campbell on the bus. That's not taking a day off. But on a serious note, we did pretty well. We ended up signing up 15 new voters on Sunday in 5 hours. 11 of them.
Hold on. 15 new voters.
Yes.
I was going to question that.
They have never voted before, or they just moved in town, or what?
This is interesting because 15 new voters who have never registered to vote, period. And out of the 15, 4 of them are on the other side. So it doesn't do us any good. But still, to pick up 11. And then our other crew across the street at the Green Market in Palm Beach Gardens signed up 7, all Republicans. So all said and done, it was a pretty good Sunday for 5 hours to do that. But what's amazing is when you have somebody who's already Republican and they switch over to the other side, and you just sit there and watch them as they fill out the application form, you just want to tear it up. But you can't do that, so you have to turn that in.
Do you say, what do you,
the thing is, after they finished doing that, I said, are you pro-life? And they said, yes. I said, well, do you have any idea what you just did right now? You just went from pro-life to pro-abortion. That is the number one platform for the Democrat Party. I said, you have to think about what you just did.
Why don't you tell them that before they sign?
Well, the thing is, I got to go in there as nonpartisan. I'm not going to, if I do something like that and she goes over and tells the bishop or, my pastor,
so you gotta be,
we're going to get thrown out of the churches. So I let them, do their thing, and then afterwards just kind of say, well, do you have any idea why you did that? And kind of give them a little bit of education, and maybe they'll flip-flop and go back again, maybe before Tuesday the 18th. But it's just amazing. It really is to see, at a Catholic church, one of the premier Catholic churches in the diocese. But all in all, it was a good experience. Just our presence being there. People appreciated, because they said, wow, we've never seen that at a Catholic church, voter registration at a Catholic church.
That's pretty cool. Hey, Tom Trento with Willie G here and the boys in the control room, 11:27 in the morning, WNN 1470 95.3. Tell your friends, and if you like what you're listening to, and if you're listening and watching, we do some cool stuff here for sure. We're in touch with everybody everywhere. We got great plans in the future. We're going to hit the road at times. So get everybody listening, and you can watch. Go to theunitedwest.org. The TV show is up about the next morning. The best time is to go the next morning. Tomorrow morning, this show will be up. And if you're so inclined, and we hope and pray you are, go to the United West, make a little donation. You're donation driven too. This guy exists on donations. Let's focus on you. How can people donate to you?
Well, we always do yearly, our annual, pretty much summertime funding for Christian on a Mission. I send out the emails to everybody, text messages as well, and we've got some great supporters that have helped us out.
If somebody wants to become a supporter, what do? How do they give you money?
Well, basically, I always give out my phone number, and every time I call, put out my number, the Dolphin cheerleaders call. But anyway, no, I just, on my email list, call in. I'll add you to my email list, and I'll send.
Do you have a website or a Facebook page or anything like that?
I had a website that I haven't really kept up, to be honest with you. But basically, just adding onto my email list.
You're a worse fundraiser than me, I think.
Yeah, I am.
What kind of fundraising is this? Yeah, come on, give me a phone call somewhere. All right, well, we're going to help you raise some money somehow because we need you in this fight at 110%.
Hey, Tom, I've got a question.
Yeah.
For Willie. Willie, you mentioned Tuesday. What happens on Tuesday the 18th? There's something about registration and a deadline. Could you clarify that?
Yeah, that's the last day that you could either sign up, voter registration, or change your party if you're going to vote in the primary coming up. So that's Tuesday, February 18th. That's your deadline.
That's coming up real fast. Today's the 12th, right?
That might be important because we've heard that in other states, the media is waiting to add up all of the Democrat votes for any candidate, add that number up and compare it to the number of people who voted for Trump, trying to use that as an indicator. So we need to get people to register for the Republican primary by 18th so they can vote on it in August, even though it's Trump all the way. We just need those numbers to show how much support there is for Trump.
That's a great point. Thank you, Dick. True.
Yeah, Tom Trento here with Willie G., Christian on a Mission, and a Hall of Famer in Florida, the state of Florida. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, do you get a yellow jacket with that or anything? Or what is it?
Everything I wear is red. There's no yellow in me.
No yellow. He's not yellow. All right, well, this segment where we're talking about Christians who aren't voting, but I want to go back for a second because of the 11 people that signed up for the first time, why hadn't they signed up to register in their life before?
Well, an interesting point, and it's kind of a sensitive thing, is the Spanish Mass at 12:30. And I did sit down and talk to our priest, Father Jose Cruzet, who is from Cuba, former doctor and Catholic priest, a very strong pro-lifer and a Trumper. And, I told him, I said, here all the people are coming in. Maybe about 480 people came into the 12:30 Mass. And when you asked them, hey, have you registered to vote? And very quietly, they kind of snuck in and said, no, I'm only a resident. So a great percentage of these people are not citizens yet. So I did call up my pastor yesterday, and I told him we need to get these people engaged and involved. When you become a citizen, you become part of the community and part of the church, the diocese, and part of this country. And I think it's really important that they do, go out there and get the application form to become a citizen, however long it takes. But that's very important. So, if 50, 60, 70% of our people going to that Mass are not citizens, they're not voting, they don't have a say.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. They're in the United States, they've been accepted in, they may have been here for a while, but they just, for whatever reasons, haven't moved in that direction. I could understand that. Little hesitancy. What I don't understand on the Protestant side, my side, evangelical Christians, and we've done all the analysis, we've done all the hardcore work. There's 20 million people in the state of Florida, 15 million check the box Christian, 2010 census, it's going to be another one this year, every 10 years. Of that 15 million Christians, 12 million of voting age over 18. Of that 12 million, about 9 million are registered, but we only had in 2018 9.5 total million people voting. So we got a disparity of anywhere from 1 to 5 million people that call themselves Christians that are not voting. Out of those Christians, the numbers are about 50% are evangelical, 60%. So we got a hardcore number of 3 million evangelicals not voting. Our campaign this year is to mobilize 1,000,001 over against Andrew Gillum, who was all over CNN. Did you see him on CNN last night?
No, I missed that.
They pulled him up and said, Andrew Gillum is here. He's one of their commentators.
Oh, yeah, he's
and he's talking about the surge and we're moving in the right way and the worst president needs to be defeated. And Gillum is featured just how How
like Van Jones, like a Van Jones.
Just
character.
like that. But how DeSantis was on Fox all the time.
Yeah.
Now they're putting Gillum on to be the face to defeat Trump here with his Flip Florida Blue campaign. We got 1 million evangelicals not voting, and we've spoken to a lot of them. We've done a lot of videos, a lot of stuff. Couple of reasons, and we're going to get into it in the next 266 days a lot. Some of it is just Trump is too immoral. He's an immoral person. He's had so many wives. He talks nasty. He makes fun of people. I, as a Christian, can't vote for an immoral guy like that. What do you say, Willie G?
I mean, I'm a devout Christian myself, and yeah, you know that I was with the Ted Cruz campaign for almost a year, and my whole life that I've known Donald Trump, I never, ever really appreciated him or really liked his morals or values or anything. I just thought, he was just a brash billionaire and the apprentice or whatever. But as the campaigns were rolling on and watching the debates and everything and seeing, his change from being pro-choice, not pro-abortion, but pro-choice to, pro-life, and working the My Faith Votes with Dr. Ben Carson when I met up with him back in August of 2016. And when he came out, it was about maybe 40 of us at his house. And the first thing he said, he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to know that Donald Trump is praying every single day."
Wow.
He's really surrounded himself with some evangelicals and pastors, and he's really has a soft heart for the Christian faith. And I thought, wow, that's how I left Ben Carson's house that day, August 16th, August 22nd, 2016. And I thought, wow, this man is really, really changing. So when I joined the Trump campaign, I came in as the pro-lifer. And a lot of people told me right off the top, Willie, abortion is a very sensitive topic. I don't know if these women want to talk about it. I don't know about Trump and all that. I said, you know what? It's either you take pro-life or not. Otherwise, I got nothing to do with this campaign. I'm bringing pro-life to this campaign here locally in Palm Beach County. And look what Donald Trump has done in 3.5 years. The most pro-life president we've seen in 243 years. So it works, and that's how he's going to win this 2020 election.
From your lips to God's ears, he was the first president ever to go speak to the March for Life. But all of you Christians who take that position, and there's more now since that idiot Christianity Today, Mark Golly, wrote the editorial saying just that. How can you be a Christian and vote for this immoral man? First of all, who else are you going to vote for? You can go by default. And once that argument is made, that Christian would normally say, well, I'm not going to vote at all. Well, now you've reneged on your civic obligation as a Christian. Go read the book of Romans, Romans 13, the obligations we have in our society to participate, particularly if it's a free society where you have a say in what happens. So think of that biblically. But more importantly, where's your Christian charity looking at an individual, as you just said, that is in process? He entered the office as one person. He's been hit with so much crap. He should be the nastiest, meanest guy in the world every single day. But there were so many Christians that enveloped him with their arms and their love that you could see what the angel on one side pulling him, the angels, and on the other side, the devil's pulling him to be the fighter that he is. This guy is in transition. Very few people can exist and succeed anyway with that kind of pressure each and every day. And look at what he has done for the country.
I know, I couldn't.
Yeah, we're seeing a modern day, Saul to Paul. I mean, the conversion has been unreal. The only thing that I really wish that President Trump would do and say, publicly, is to use the word forgive. I wish to God that he would, somebody's got to get in his ear and say, use the word forgive and humble himself. If he could humble himself a little more, especially for his next 4 years, I think he's really going to unite this country. I really, truly believe that. So when I hear those words, he's now using my phrase all the time. We're all in this together. He's used it in the last two rallies. So, we're all in this together. We the people and Trump the president. So forgiveness is such a huge, humbling word, and I hope he comes through with that.
And for all of you who are, saying, I can't vote for this, I can't vote for this guy, you need to forgive him and recognize that he's in process and he's going to become a guy that will reflect Christian principles more than any president I've ever seen. So It's difficult. I understand that. I cringe at some of this stuff. But when you take the full picture, you look at the whole thing, you see an individual in process, and you understand Christian charity and love, then you say, I can give the guy a break. You know, if he starts cheating on his wife and doing this stuff over here and going crazy, then that's a different story. But the only reasons people don't like him is because of the way he is. He's from New York. What do you expect him to be? You know, that's half the problem. But these Christians, Willie, that we're talking about, if they came with us to Israel, you think their lives would be transformed? They come back saying, man, I love our country, I love Israel, and I want to go with this president because he has done the most for Israel out of any president in the United States.
Well, just going with you guys on that trip last year really transformed my life. I mean, I really got to see everything, you know, firsthand, right up close. So now when I go to church on Sunday and I hear the priest during his homily talk about the walls of Jericho or Jerusalem, the Sea of Galilee, we were there.
Dude, you were there, man.
And it's so vivid now. I could see all this stuff, and it was just an amazing thing. Now, talking about Trump and, you know, the embassy, going there to see that, you know, was just amazing. You know, with our whole group just said, wow, this is history that was made last year when he was here. And, you know, that's how an incredible influence that Trump has. And how many people in Israel love this guy? I mean, it's just amazing. They love him more in that country than most people do here in this in the United States, other than 63 million.
It's 80-20, 80-20.
Yeah. Well, in Israel, the Israelis are much different than a New York Jewish person, much, much different. And the Israelis, probably more than 80%, probably 90% approval rating Trump. Here, I don't know, I'm hearing numbers close to 30% now. American Jews are starting to come over to Trump a little more because he's proven not only on, well, hey, Ron, you're here. Ronnie Wexler's here. What were some of Donald Trump's accomplishments in Israel that have distinguished him among other people and other presidents?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Too many to really mention. From beginning, his acknowledgement of the rights of Israel in the West Bank, Samaria, and Judea, which most Americans don't even know what those regions mean, but they've always been a part of Israel, or if they wish to call it Palestine, always been a part of Palestine, and with the partition of the area after World War I, since the Ottoman Empire did not control the area, that entire region became the country of the Jews. From the Balfour Declaration and everything else that took place since that time, it was. And here comes President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, and says to everybody what you didn't want to agree to, which was agreed to before, and you deny the existence of that part of Israel in the so-called area of the West Bank is a part of Israel, is something that we never in Israel thought would be even possible by American president. That's number one. Number two, the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights is the high ground of the region called as Galilee. Any Bible-reading person knows the part of Israel in Galilee where at least 4 of the tribes of Israel resided, and it was controlled practically by those who were on the high ground, and the high ground are the Golan Heights, and we are at the mercy of the Syrian army. Comes Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, and says, no more. Israel has the right to it, and if not by history, not biblically, they won a war that was waged against them. Where in the history of mankind a war is being waged against a country, and this country protects itself and gains some pieces of land and made to give it back to the enemy? It doesn't work. And the whole world doesn't see it. So everybody was against Israel annexing the Golan Heights. Comes President Donald Trump and says it is a part of Israel. Not only it is a part of Israel and we really appreciate it, but we actually are having now a city in the Golan Heights called Trump City. And those who are coming with us to Israel, for the first time now, will visit a place on the world map called Trump City outside of the American continent.
We're going to Trump City. Woohoo! All right, all right.
So that's one. That's the other thing. Most importantly, the recognition of Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel. Now, did he make it to be that? Absolutely not. Who made it to be that way? King David. When was King David alive? The day before Trump was elected to president of the United States? No, that was almost 3,050 years ago. So if this was the capital of Israel then, why wouldn't it be now? Well, it wasn't the capital of Israel in the eye of the non-believers and those who decided to go against Israel, but comes again President Trump and says, no longer, the case is the case. It is the capital of Israel. And to prove it, I will move the embassy of the United States from the shores of the Mediterranean in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And Tom, you and I were there on that historic day where the actual opening of the ceremony of the embassy took place, and that's major. So when you say that perhaps 90% of the people of Israel regard President Trump as the most important individual outside of Israel for the state of Israel, you're absolutely correct. If Trump was running for election tomorrow in Israel for the United States, it'd be a landslide.
And you can be there with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going in May 18th through the 29th. Our crew here is going, and Willie G., you're coming with us again, my man. And
just listen to Dr. Wexler and those 8 minutes there. That's the reason why I went last year, and the reason why I'm going back on May 18th, because I learned so much just simply listening to him. It's hard to understand him sometimes, but, just listening to him was just an incredible thing. So for me, education is so important. You're there to see some of the sites, the religious sites and all, but when you hear explanations like that, modern day, our president, that's what really makes this trip worthwhile.
Well, what's beautiful is that his company, Ronnie's company, is Heritage Study Programs. So we do study. We're not there with books and having to write papers and all of that, but we do give people information to prepare, and all the experts, the subject matter experts, Claire Lopez, John Guandolo, Philip Haney, Laura Loomer's going to be with us, the Jexit ladies, all of them. These are experts in their area. Plus, when we go there, we meet with various experts, geopolitical, military, and intelligence, and they have studied a lot. And then they give us the geopolitical explanation as to why Trump is the best person, not just for Israel, for the Middle East. And on this trip, May 18th through the 29th, we've gotten confirmation from the ambassador's office, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, David Friedman. He will be doing a private briefing for our group on the whole deal of the century, on the military situation right now. And here's the situation, a quick update on the military situation. And look, whatever you hear, ladies and gentlemen, bombs here, this, that, the other thing, rest assured, unless the country is shut down, we go. It's always safe. Do not come on this trip because you're afraid, particularly if you're a Christian or a Jew. Where's your trust in God? If I'm going, if Willie's going, if Ronnie's going, Mark's going, don't be afraid. You come with us. But here's what happened. Right now, there's a pact between Israel and the United States. The pact is to switch the military paradigm, where both countries were in a defensive posture against Iran using acolytes, using Hezbollah and Hamas as their war front. And Israel and the United States were fighting these, and Israel primarily fighting them. The paradigm has been shifted with the killing of guess whom?
Qassam
Soleimani. Qasem Soleimani has reoriented the Middle East. It sent a shockwave that is still reverberating, not just through Iran, through every Arab country there. Like, what the hell, man? If they knock that guy off, Trump will knock anybody off. And as a result, Iran is fearful, though they have a lot of blustering. So Israel and the United States have decided, instead of fighting Hamas and Hezbollah, let's go after Iran in the war between the war, it's called. And what they're doing is Israel saying, you're not going to have a foothold in Syria. Israel borders on Syria. That's where the Golan Heights are. Israel said to Iran, you're not going to have a foothold. We're going to hit you. We're going to hit you harder. And guess what? If we have to go after some of your people, we're going to do that. And the United States said to Iran, you're not going to have a foothold in Iraq, which they were trying to do. Iran wants a land bridge. They want to go from Iran through Syria into Lebanon into the Mediterranean, a land bridge to the Med. And the U.S. and Israel now have joined up to be preemptive to strike them so they can't build that front. It is establishing a more peaceful front, believe it or not. What do you think about that, Ron?
Well, I think that obviously what you just said is absolutely correct. Israel has been at war with Iran, where there was admission to the barrels almost on a daily basis in Syria. Fronts in Syria moved away from closer to the border with Israel and pushed back almost to the area of the border with eastern Jordan and Iraq. And slowly but surely we're pushing them away. There's not enough place in Syria for Russia, Syria, and Iran to be there together. Simply is not going to work. And Iran is being pushed back. And obviously, being that Iraq is majority Shiite, it was easy for Iran to think that they can just step in and take over. To a certain degree, they were correct. But things are shifting around again, and thank God to the United States of America, and disallow it from happening. Another thing that I would like to say, just the way as the United States took care of Soleimani, Israel declared to Hamas and to the Jihad groups in Gaza that their days are numbered. And in the last 2 weeks, nobody is showing their face in public because they are being targeted. And that's with the admission of the powers in Israel.
That is amazing. The new defense minister, Naftali Bennett, he's getting serious. This guy's getting serious.
And to bring it back home real quick, Tom,
Yeah.
I'd like to play this little clip here for you.
Here we go.
Bottom line, would you have supported, if you'd been there, would you have made the vote to take out Qasem Soleimani with the drone strike, yes or no?
Knowing what I know now, no.
Oh, that poor lady. That's the current congresswoman of this district, District 21 in Florida. She's the congresswoman for President Trump. Laura Loomer's running against her. Laura will be on our trip. This was fascinating, the past few minutes discussing the geopolitical national security. If you're interested in that stuff, we got it for you, May 18 through 29. Go to Jerusalem Day 2020. JerusalemDay2020.com. That's the website's got everything there. We now have David Friedman posted there that he'll be briefing us, the Jexit, Team Jexit, Jews exiting the Democrat Party. But not only the military stuff, geopolitics, there's a phenomenal spiritual experience. You know, as a devout Catholic, you going there and being in some of the Catholic churches, what was that like for you?
It was an amazing thing. I mean, especially the Sea of Galilee. I mean, that's where I wish we would have stayed an extra day there. But just looking out the hotel window and looking out there, you could just see, Peter the fisherman just walking on the shores and everything. And we got to go in to see the mass going on with the Catholic priest with that, the altar was shaped like a ship.
Boat, yeah.
Yeah, like a fishing boat. And I just sat there and go, wow, this was an amazing thing. It really, really, really touched me. You saw the pictures I took right there in Galilee. Those are some of the best photos I took out of the entire trip. But all in all, just every day that I was there was just an amazing thing.
Yeah, there's so much. So, folks, hey, look, we got a few seats left open. We want you to come. We got to. You got to go online, JerusalemDay2020.com. Check it out. If you need any information, contact me, tom@theunitedwest.org. And we're leaving on May 18th. Going to be a great trip, obviously, but. People don't realize that when you look at the Galilee, that long lake, the Sea of Galilee, 80, 85, 90% of Jesus' ministry, if the top of that lake is 12 o'clock on a clock, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that's where he spent most of his life. He made a couple of trips down to Jerusalem,
right.
But all the work was up there in the northern Galilee. And we'll be back there, and I'm telling you, if you're a Jew or Christian that's a person of faith, to go on our type of trip where you get obviously the spiritual stuff, but we integrate it, Ronnie's background, my background, with the theological and the national security and geopolitical, you come back with a head full of information that can be helpful. Here's why. Here's the ask. We need people who are informed on what's going on in the Middle East, not just Israel, in the Middle East, because all of the people running on the Democrat side, in particular Bernie, if they get in control, they are going to set the Middle East on flames. We guarantee it. Yes. Arabs, predating Islam, viewed strong horse, weak horse. Bin Laden said this. He said, if the horse is weak, we kill it. If it's strong, we step away from it. You think Bernie Sanders is going to be feared by the jihadis worldwide and in the Middle East? Essential, folks, to come back, teach people not to vote for these nitwits that will destroy the United States, the world, and Israel. Or certainly try it. All right, Willie, got a couple of minutes left. How do you get people to volunteer? What is somebody, you give a speech somewhere, what do you say to that person, to those people, to motivate them to say, I'm going to join you, I'm going to help, because we need help right now?
And we need...
I was just up in Orlando Saturday. We had our Florida Right to Life meeting up there. And we've got people from the entire state of Florida, from Broward County all the way to Tallahassee, Jacksonville. And I was able to speak for 10 or 12 minutes and let everybody know what we do in Palm Beach County. We are considered the most active county.
Yeah, and I don't want the what you do. What do you say to them to change their heart?
But when I was talking to them, because these people from Naples, St. Pete, Sarasota, saying, wow, why can't we do what he's doing? And, basically I gave out my name and my phone number, my email address, and a bunch of these people have been in contact with me. So they're trying to do the same thing that we're doing. None of those people are doing what I'm doing right now on this radio program. And this is so important because we get the word out doing this. So now if they can go on and do some Catholic radio, Christian radio, or this type of radio program, it's going to get the word out. But basically it's motivating people and showing them and having the media there. And they say, wow, every time this guy walks out of his log home, he's got channel 51225, the Palm Beach Post there. And it's very important because I have seen over the past 8 months, the local media has really turned and favored us. I mean, positive stuff.
Really?
And people are saying, wow, this is amazing. Locally, the local news has been on our side. Nationally, they're still, after Trump, but we've made a big difference, and it's been one of my big crusades over the last 10 years.
So what Willie's doing, ladies and gentlemen, setting himself up as an example of someone who can do this, and then people want to follow a leader. That's certainly one way.
And give us your phone number and contact info again.
Again, it's area code 305-610-2992, and you could just drop me an email at willieguardiola@yahoo.com. I've got an extensive email list of most pro-lifers and activists. That's what we're looking for. People that go out there, walk the walk. You're not going to become a pro-lifer by way of osmosis and read my emails. Walk the walk, join us. Our next meeting is going to be on February 19th, which is a Wednesday, and it's going to be over at the Republican Party headquarters in Palm Beach Lakes, 6:45 p.m.
Your phone number one more time.
Area code 305-610-2992.
And
I got a text already. Tom, tell Willie to hit me up Bubbles. Okay, I'll send you that one. Okay.
Okay. As long as it's not stormy.
As long as it's. All right, Mark, any concluding thoughts, or Midwest Dick or Ronnie? We got about a minute here.
Getting involved like what Willie does is it's kind of like working out. You know you got to do it. You hate getting out there doing it, but once you do it, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that because I feel so much better and I feel like I'm doing something positive. And that's and you got to politically work out. You got to get out there and be involved and work out and get Trump, and not just Trump, but all the ones down the ballot elected, because that's more, I think, is almost as important, if not more important, than electing Trump.
Absolutely. Dick, you got 30 seconds. Anything?
Well, I just think you find that if you do this volunteer work, you get to meet people like Willie. You get to visit with people who are committed. It brings out the best in you.
Exactly.
You make new friends. I think that's an aspect of it that we should also promote.
Yep.
The camaraderie of it all. And let's give Ronnie 30 seconds here.
I think that what we all are doing here is a great thing, and I wish more people would be in tune and follow up in what we are saying they would. And I hope to see you all in Israel. I really do. Going to Israel, learning what Israel is doing, and see the connection between Israel and the United States of America is very important, specifically this time for the election.
Willie, 10 seconds. Take us out of here.
And you also get a free T-shirt, so join our group. No, it's amazing that this red T-shirt has just made its way around the state of Florida, so it's awesome.
All right, Willie G, thank you, man, for coming here. Hall of Famer, Willie G, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Tom.